Okay, so now I'm going to make apple crisp. And I've got apples peeled. And the apples, I put in 5, even though the direction says 4 to 5. And it took a good 5. I might have put 6 in. And I usually put it in this pan first so that I know how full it is. Because they can say 4 to 5 apples. And do you have an apple or do you have an apple? So numbers of apples doesn't mean a whole lot. It's how full it fills the pan. And you want it down a little bit from the top because you've got your topping and stuff that goes on. So now I'm going to just put my apples in a bowl because we are going to have to stir them. And the apples I used was bigger than this one. I just grabbed the biggest ones I had out of the bag. It just made it easier that way. And now I am going to add, oops, I got to melt my butter, start. So we got to melt the butter. And then what is in it is 4 to 5 apples, 1 stick of butter, half a cup of monk fruit, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a tablespoon of cinnamon. I love a lot of cinnamon in my apple crisp. So, and I'm following a recipe that I happened to find on Pinterest. I tweak it a little. I've tweaked it and I haven't put anything in this, and I've just left it in the pan and just did the topping like we used to do years ago. I think I liked it better with the bottom, although it didn't have to have that much. So actually I shied the sweetener just a little bit. I didn't shy the cinnamon because cinnamon is really good. And the vanilla is really good in it. So instead of full half a cup, I probably did about 1/3 of a cup of monk fruit. And it's approximate, like I say. So I will 41 seconds and that'll be ready. And then we'll stir this together. And then this is supposed to kind of marinate in it and thicken a little bit. So we'll set that aside so that that can thicken and stuff. Actually, what I'll do is I'll pour it in my pan and it kind of marinate in my pan. I can use the same pan, and then that way I'm not dirtying another pan to mix up the crisp that goes on top because it's got the same stuff in it. So the crisp on top, I can use the same pan easy enough. So should be about melted. I did it for 2 minutes, but it was frozen. Usually 111 is what I do it on. That way I just hit one button. And sure enough, it is melted and hot. Okay. So we are going to use this bowl to kind of mix these ingredients together. Oh, it's not quite melted. It'll be close enough because it's hot, so it's still working on melting. I grab my spoon. That's a fork. That won't work. Here's a spoon. Yeah, now it's melted. So we're going to just mix the monk fruit, vanilla, say it right, and the cinnamon, all in there. And then it's just a nice little liquid. And then we're going to just put it over top of this. And it will thicken partly because it's the butter's going to, turn hard again. So, but we're going to stir it up while it's good and warm. Just fold it in. Oh, this is going to be good. I know it's going to be good. Breaking up the pieces that's kind of stuck together. And this will keep any of them from your apples from turning dark by go ahead and getting covered with something. So like I say, I'm going to stick this in here. Sure. This is, I've made it before. I've made it both two different ways. I tweak it every time depending on what I have. So now we're going to just set this aside and set these aside because we don't need these anymore. And then we have our almond flour, because it's keto, remember. And almond flour is a cup and a half of almond flour. It calls for another stick of butter, so I better while I'm working on this, that's going to be melting. So we got to put our dry ingredients together, and all it is a cup and a half of almond flour and a half a cup of monk fruit. So we just kind of put it in there. And then we have a half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. It says a pinch of salt, but I'm going to share this with my mom. We're going to leave the salt out. Doesn't make that much difference. A lot of your sweet stuffs really doesn't matter. I could sprinkle maybe I'll do that. Little dab of no salt in it. The container's almost empty, so we'll just empty it. Nope, I still hear it. I can hear it. So it's not empty. Now it's empty. Yep, now it's empty. So we did put a little dab in it. Now I'm going to get another spoon. And we're just going to stir this together so that then we'll add the butter actually to here, and then we'll add this to the butter. But your dry ingredients, usually stir them together first. It makes it blend easier. You don't have a lump of something like pure sugar, no sugar, or the xanthan gum. You gotta blend it all together. Okay, so that's blended. And then, so it's really a pretty simple recipe. It doesn't take too much. Well, look at that. I didn't have my butter in there. I'm not doing nothing. A stick of butter. We'll try this again. I don't suppose you guys has ever pulled something like that. That's a first for me, though. I wouldn't have noticed it except my jar that I used before is empty and on the counter. That can't be. Like I say, the butter's starting off froze. I had it in the freezer. I just took it out this morning, so. Let's try this again. Stop. 200. Start. Now it'll take care. So I think we're going to have a pretty good Thanksgiving this year. I've got a lot of stuff out on table out in the garage. It's refrigerator temperature out there. Don't panic. It's not freezing, but yet it's just like a fridge. I always joke and say I have a walk-in fridge in the wintertime. Summertime I don't, but in the wintertime I have a walk-in fridge. And it's pretty much a walk-in fridge all year, all winter, except if it gets down to 60 below, then it'll be a walk-in freezer. So I gotta watch what I put in it. I can't do it all the time. I can't keep my onions or anything like that in it. Right now I'm keeping my squash. It's gonna be quite a while before it gets that cold. And I'll probably have it all done. Probably I'll freeze a lot of what's left and get it cleaned out of the garage. Just because then it's ready whenever I need it. It's already cooked. It's handy. All I have to do is take it out the day ahead. I have a lot of zucchini frozen, both in the zoodle form, the mandolin, or I use my grandma's cabbage slicer and slice them for lasagna noodles. And most of it is just shredded so that I can make zucchini bread, because I make lots of zucchini bread for my mom. Kind of thinking about doing something for Thanksgiving. It's a thought that came to my head. I thought, following my keto zucchini bread recipe, I think it'd be very festive to put some dried cranberries in it. I did do dried cranberries in mine with nuts, but my grandkids don't like nuts. So I was thinking, should I do some without I've done raisins many a times, but with the cranberries, you get a bite of that cranberry in it. It just seems so festive. It seems so Thanksgiving, Christmas. So I'll probably just use what I already have made that's got the nuts in it. I don't think my grandkids would eat it anyway. So yeah, I'll probably just use it. But it would be kind of cool to leave the nuts out. I mean, it's got almonds in it, but it's not like it tastes like almonds. And it's the crunch of the nuts that my grandsons don't like. So, well, it's done. It beeped. And it's hot, so I got to get my hot pad. I used to try it in a plastic container in the microwave. Not smart. You have a tendency to melt it, and that's not healthy. That in all, I try not to ever cook in the microwave with plastics, because the toxicity of your plastics. When I do, like my husband's TV dinner plates, which I will make a whole bunch of. That's a good time to make your TV dinners and freeze them for like my husband, or if you're busy, is take leftovers and make TV dinners. That's what I do with my husband. I have these TV dinner plates, and so Thanksgiving, after everybody's ate their main share, some of the stuff might be gone. That's okay. I'll just grab one of these real quick. I have 8 of these, and they've got lids. I do, for him in the road, just because of transporting and stuff, after I get it all said and done and filled, I close the thing, and then I put a rubber band around it to hold it for him, because the lids sometimes will pop off of these. I have some red ones that the lids stay on, but they're all BPA free, so he can heat them up in the microwave and not worry about getting them chemicals in his food. So that's what I'll do. It's nice divided, so I'll put a dessert in one, and turkey, and maybe stuffing. I mean, he's thin. He don't need the keto, but he likes to do keto. So I don't know for sure. I'll ask him if he wants some stuffing. And then squash. He loves squash, so I'll do squash, maybe potatoes, some gravy on the turkey. And I just make it up, and voila, he's got TV dinners all ready, and I won't have to cook for a while. So we've got this all, and I was kind of chopping up the little dab that didn't get melted in the bottom. So then we're going to just add the flour mixture. So flour, sugar, and xanthan gum. And we're going to stir this up. Now the time that I did it, we're using just the topping. The cinnamon that was in that I blended in with it, I put it in the topping because you can't have an apple crisp without cinnamon. It's just not the same. So all that's all blended up. There's a little dab of cinnamon in here because what was in the pan, that won't hurt any. Like I say, I did that one time on purpose. So just like that. Now, this is kind of thickened and it's kind of sitting there on top. Now, all we have to do is place this in here. Try to break it up a little bit. So this is going to be good. It's going to be a little sweeter than when I do it with just the topping and not. And I've kind of been keto for so long that I don't really need it as sweet. I kind of broke that sugar addiction. But on Thanksgiving, you know, you're not just cooking for yourself, you're cooking for everybody else. And most people have not broke their sugar addiction. They're highly addicted. And even though they know that sugar's bad for them and stuff, an addiction, you can know, it's just not easy to break. So make sure that it's spread around so that there's some topping on all of it. And there's not any that's real too thick. There we go. And now, all we have to do is, actually it says preheat the oven to 350, but I've got this little tiny oven. I never have to preheat it. So we will, for 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. So I usually set it on 20 minutes. And that's usually sufficient. If it beeps and it's not done, then I add the other 5 minutes. So 350. I'll do it for 25 minutes. And check it ahead of time, because the oven's not preheated, so it heats up real quick though, so I don't have to preheat. Make sure you preheat your oven if you've got a big oven, otherwise it won't work like it does in this. So and that's how you make the apple crisp. So I'm getting pretty well wound down to where I'm almost ready for Thanksgiving. I've got a few other things I think that I'm going to get ready, but I think this is it. So I will take a picture of the table out there when I get it all set up. And I'm not going to sample all the foods because obviously you don't want everything a piece taken out of everything too. So take my word for it. It'll be good. Maybe I'll do a video afterwards of sampling some foods that we had and maybe some of the TV dinners. Maybe I'll videotape some of the TV dinners that I put together. So I think that's everything, but I have to check my list for sure. I might be back. And if you like what you see, like it and share it and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.